The 2022 College Football Playoff National Championship game is tonight. Number 1 Alabama versus number 3 Georgia. The game will be played at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana. And we've got a great show coming up for you tonight as we get ready to break down the game. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a special National Championship edition of On the Spot with David Rodgers. I'm your host, David Rodgers, alongside Michael Heater and the Byron Bradwell. Great to have you along. Tonight's show sponsored by Mitchell Gunner Racing. Be sure to follow our favorite NHRA Division II Summit ET Sportman Racer as he tears up the tracks in the southeastern United States. Follow Mitchell Gunner on Facebook for the latest and greatest. Let's get this pregame show started with a live look at the weather in Indianapolis, but we're going to hold off on that as we're going to welcome you to this special edition of a national championship game between Alabama and Georgia. We're going to break down everything for you for this game tonight. Don't turn on ESPN. They don't know what they're talking about. Listen to us three guys, myself, Mr. Bagwell, Mr. Heater, and of course our producer, Mr. Holland. We're going to break it down for you guys. We have everything that you can possibly imagine, just like ESPN does. And I tell you what, guys, I'm glad that we decided last week to do this because, not a lot of shows in this factor that we do break down things like this. Yeah. And it's great to have guys that are knowledgeable within the sport realm, specifically tonight, football, where we've got a great game tonight between Alabama and Georgia. By far, let's face it, the two best teams in the country this year, because those semifinal games, I'm going to tell you what, absolutely stunk. Alabama decimated Cincinnati, and I'm going to tell you what, Georgia decimated Michigan. It was ugly. Now, we should have a great game. A rematch, Mr. Bagwell, and we'll get your opinion on that. And I tell you, hey, we've got a great rematch right here as Alabama takes on Georgia. First meeting, Alabama really whipped Georgia up and down the field, guys. It was ugly. 41-24, Georgia got out to a 10-0 lead. Just couldn't sustain it. I've got my ideas and thoughts on that, and I'm going to get the panel's thoughts as we get later on into the show and with your predictions and your breakdown of the game. But we've got a lot of stuff to look at. But first, we want to start with the weather in Indianapolis, Indiana for this game that's being played at Lucas Oil Stadium. And we're going to get that from our very own Mr. Referee, Mr. Michael Heater. Michael, what do you have for us?
Hey, good evening, folks. So real quick, give you an update on what's going on like that. We want to go ahead and talk about the weather first. And, of course, the Lucas Oil Stadium forecast is coming up, as is the local forecast. But everyone's been asking questions all day long overnight with the wind chills coming in the teens because the wind is going to be at 13 miles per hour in Indianapolis. Thank goodness this is going to be an inside game because I'm telling you, this would be a miserable place for anybody to play ball, especially two Southeastern Conference teams like Georgia and Alabama. But that's not all. We also have our weather around here. So, thanks to Austin's Weather Service, here's a look at your local forecast for the next 4 days. We're looking at increasing clouds as we move through Tuesday into Wednesday, but we're still looking at temperatures right around the mid-60s or so all the way through Friday. Good news is, Friday, the sun makes its return, but it's still going to be chilly with lows starting off in the 40s during the week, dropping off into the 30s overnight as we get into the weekend. Dave, that's the latest from Austin's Weather Service. We're throwing it back to you.
That's a great weather report right there, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'll tell you what, does ESPN give the weather report like that? Heck no.
Absolutely
You
not.
can only catch it right here on the Spot with David Rodgers and our very own Michael Heater, brought to you by Austin's Weather Service. Let's get the show started, as we always do. And now, everyone's favorite segment that brings back a little history, brought to you by our great media partners, WEAG, Eagle Country 106.3 FM, Chuck and Mary Kramer in Lynn Velas, and, of course, the Bradford Telegraph, John Miller, John Ryan Tillman, and Mr. Martin Williams, right?
I feel remiss.
Okay.
I do.
Uh-huh.
I think we are doing a disservice. I know it's championship football.
Yes.
I know we're pumped.
Yes.
I know we're excited.
Yes.
But it's just not on the spot with David Rodgers without the prayer, the pledge, and our patriotic quote.
Whoa! You know why? Goodness I'm glad that our director is here. Man, we forgot to do that. And that's exactly right. So we're going to stop the show right there. We're going to go ahead and do our prayer, our pledge, and our patriotic quote of the night. And I'm sure you have one.
It's not going to be. It's a special sports quote. That
Okay,
Okay,
good.
well, that's still-
That's fine. All right, let us bow our heads and let us pray. Our righteous Heavenly Father, let us once thank again for a wonderful and glorious day you've given us, dear Lord. Thank you for this time as we can get together and break down a football game, dear Lord, the national championship between two great universities, dear Lord. Let these players go out and play the game. Great sportsmanship and be safe and no major injuries, dear Lord. Thank you again for letting us live in the greatest country in the world today, the United States of America. Thank you for our armed forces as they are just working hard and diligently to keep us safe from domestic and international terrorism, dear Lord. Thank you for our first responders, each and every one of those men and women that keep us safe during the day and during our nights, dear Lord. Any spoken or unspoken prayer requests, dear Lord, that you touch each and every one of them. You're the ultimate healer. You're the ultimate comforter, dear Lord. So touch each and every one of them. Let us bless the food that we receive each and every day as goes in the nourishment of our bodies and our bodies to thy service. Again, thank you, dear Lord, for the great beginning of this week, the great week that you're going to be giving us, and for a great show tonight and tomorrow. And we ask for these things in your Son's name, Jesus Christ. And the congregation says,
Amen.
Amen. Let us stand for a pledge. And we're going to ask Mr. Michael Heater to lead us today.
Absolutely. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, thank you very much, guys, for joining in on a special broadcast of the National Championship game. And boy, I'll tell you what, I almost forgot about the prayer, the pledge, and the patriotic quote.
It's an exciting night.
It is a very exciting night, so how can you forget it, right? I know how we can forget things. But anyway, Byron, what you got for us on the corner?
I got a little bit of two of them. How about
Okay.
that? Because they're both really short.
I like it.
We are going to kick their rear end, and that's not the word that was used.
We're going to kick their ASS.
That is exactly right.
Okay,
And
Michael?
I will give everybody a little bit of a hint.
Yep.
That actually was said this year.
Okay.
And it actually came true. I'll give you another little hint.
Oh,
Okay, well, that changes my thought then.
okay. So I'm going to go.
If you don't get this, I'm going to take my shoe off and hit you with it.
I'm gonna,
Now that's giving you even more of a
I was
hint
gonna
there.
say,
Yeah.
yeah.
boy,
I
I'm actually stumped because my mind is not processing.
I actually
Yeah.
thought it was somebody else, but based on their hints, sounds like Nick Saban.
Nope.
I'm going to say.
You're in the correct ballpark.
Yeah, I
But
figured
he was on the receiving end of that.
Oh, I'm going to say it's Jimbo Fisher.
That is exactly right. It was Jimbo Fisher.
Okay.
Best
I'm
team in
gonna
the country, my foot. They
And
got
my-
beat by a 4-loss team.
Okay, well, and again, hey, that was their only loss, and they did come back in that game, Byron.
That's true.
And should have won that game.
Should have. They should have.
Should have.
Yes.
And they played at Texas A&M, and we'll get into some of that. But anyway, These two teams last squared off just 5 weeks ago in the SEC Championship. Alabama defeated number 1 and then undefeated Georgia 41-24, a 17-point loss to take the conference crown. This is also a rematch of the 2018 CFP National Championship game where the Tide outlasted the Bulldogs 26-23 in overtime. Can anybody tell me what happened in that overtime period in that game in 2018? Why did Alabama beat Georgia that night?
Oh, I remember the game.
I'll give you a hint. Jalen Hurts started off at quarterback and then something happened.
Because Paula, whatever his name
Tua Tagovailoa.
Not Palomalo.
Came in
and played really well.
And threw a 3rd and 26 to Devontae Smith in the corner of the end zone for the game-winning touchdown. It was pretty much a walk-off touchdown, and that was a great game, by the way.
Yeah.
So tonight, Alabama goes for its 2nd straight national championship and its 7th, Byron, in the Nick Saban era since 2007. Georgia seeks its first national title. Michael, since when?
Oh, come on now.
1840? Oh, I'm sorry.
Pretty much.
No.
Can I defer to our next segment?
You can defer to
I
the
want
next
to defer to the next segment.
I actually know the answer to that.
I know you do.
Everyone should, but we're going to have some fun with that and coming up with that. Because we've got the Bama Bowl and the Bulldog Basket, and we'll explain that coming right up.
That's exactly right. But now, everyone's favorite segment that brings back a little history. What you got, babe?
Another quote.
Okay, what you got?
A second quote. That's
okay.
Right. A second quote.
All right.
Winning is not the only thing. It's everything.
That would be my dad.
Yeah, that would be my dad, too. Yeah.
And people aren't to get this one, too, because he has come from a real famous coach.
I'm going to say that's Bobby Bowden.
Nope.
I was going to say Bear Bryant.
Nope.
Ooh. How about Mr. Green Bay himself, Mr. Green Bay Packer himself?
That would be correct.
How about that? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had it. Yeah.
That's the only thing.
Lombardi, that's it. Mr. Lombardi. Okay.
Good.
All right. Okay.
Sounded
All
good.
right. So not bad. So now, everyone's favorite segment that brings back a little history, brought to you by our great media partners, WEAG Eagle Country 106.3 FM, Chuck and Mary Kramer and Lynn Vellis, and the Bradford County Telegraph, John Miller, John Ryan Tillman, David Mark Crawford, and of course, Cliff Smelly. Here's What's the Date? All right, here we go. So, these are the headlines featuring the two teams playing tonight in what year? Ooh, George Rodgers wins the Heisman. Mcmahon leads all in passing, and the Bulldogs claim the national championship. Was it January of 1970, January of 1980, January of 1990? George Rodgers wins the Heisman Trophy.
Correct.
McMahon leads all in passing. Bulldogs claim national championship. Was that January of 70, January of 1980, or January of 1990? George Washington Rodgers took on the Heisman Trophy after leading the nation in rushing while topping the 100-yard mark in every game played for the University of South Carolina. How about number 2?
Hey, Brigham Young's Jim McMahon, who eventually went on to play for the Bears, threw for 4,571 yards and 47 touchdowns, making him the #1 rated college quarterback for the season. The BYU Cougars only lost one game, and strangely, that was at opening day in New Mexico.
They should have never lost that.
That's
Please,
true.
Lord, don't let him start singing the Super Bowl shuffle.
There you go.
Not doing it.
The Georgia Bulldogs wrapped up an undefeated season at 12-0 with a victory in the Sugar Bowl, beating the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame by a score of 17-10.
17-10. There you go.
Who was
George
running back in
Rodgers.
that game?
I will tell you, George Rodgers wins the Heisman. McMahon leads all in passing, and Bulldogs claim the national championship. Was it January of 1970, January of 1980, or January of 1990? All right, let us check everybody that's on tonight. Roy Jackson and Dwight Allen is watching. Good evening, brother.
Good evening,
Robert McGee's watching. Jimmy Sparks from Lake City says, Roll Tide.
I think
Dwight
we did
Allen.
before.
I guess that's who he's going with, but we'll see.
Yep.
Dwight Allen says, roll dogs. I'm happy no matter who wins. Go SEC.
Yeah.
Dwight Allen says, rematch of Florida versus Florida State. How awesome that was. See you later, Dwight. Anthony Black from Tallahassee, Florida is watching in. Hello, Anthony. Bobby Gibson, one of the biggest Alabama fans I know. He's watching from outside the Birmingham area. Gail Allen's on. Dwight Allen says, amen, Michael Eater. J.J. Thompson's on. Kevin Kedgley's on. Jimmy Smith back. Austin Stevens, hello there.
Hey, Austin.
Jimmy Smith said they scored more points. Yeah. Jimmy Smith said that's 1980.
Okay, Jimmy
Smith says 1980.
Okay.
Dwight Allen says 80. Noah Gibson's on. Robert McGee says 80.
Roy Jackson
says 80. Phil Jackson says 80. Bobby Gibson says roll, tide roll. Ellen Disher Williams is watching. Okay. Mrs. Bagwell is watching. How about that? Hello, Mom. Hey, everybody. How's everything going? Hope Donnie's feeling a lot better. Yes, by the way. Yeah, actually, both of them were down. Yeah, both of them were down. So, absolutely. So, we got some more guesses coming up. We're waiting. I will give you what was the question. All right, let's go back.
We can do that.
What was your favorite team's last national championship victory?
There you go. George Rodgers wins the Heisman, Miss Shirley. Jim McMahon leads all in passing. And Bulldogs, the Georgia Bulldogs, claim the national championship. Was that January of 1970, January of 1980, or January of 1990? Go Bulldogs. Take a dump on Nick Saban. That's Anthony Black.
Of course that is.
Jimmy Smith says, hunker down, you hairy dog. How about that? Mitchell Gunner says 1980, but he's not eligible to win.
That's okay. We'll
still put him down there. So, we've got a lot of 1980s. I will tell you that George Rodgers played for the University of South Carolina, and that was the only loss they had that year. They were in the top 5 in the country. They lost to Georgia that year. Jim McMahon, I believe, was a junior when he broke that record.
I'm not sure about that.
And I know the freshman phenom that was the running back for Georgia at that time, and that was Mr. Herschel Walker. So, if that doesn't give it away, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what does.
Exactly.
Dr. Shirley says 1980. Ellen Disher Williams says 1990. But I'm going to change her answer to 1980. Can we do that? Just so we can get her name in there?
Yes.
Yeah, let's just do that. Yeah, let's do that. What do you think?
So, in a nutshell, if you're watching, you're in.
Pretty much. If you're watching, you're in.
You're in.
I was actually watching, so that should give everybody.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, let's move on, man. Let's see. Dwight Allen. Jim won the Super Bowl in 1985. Yes, he did, with the Chicago Bears. Slaughtered the New England Patriots that year. 45-14.
Something like 45-10.
It was ugly. It was definitely ugly. All right, what do we have?
Forget them lining the refrigerator, Perry.
William Perry. Is
Bobby
right.
Gibson just got a good point, David. The year we graduated, that's absolutely right. A lot of things happened in that year. Hey, President Reagan. Hey, I had a lot of things happening going on that year.
I think we've pretty much narrowed this one down.
Yes, we have, haven't we?
All right, well, then let's just go ahead and give it
out. And the answer is, wait for it, give it out. 1980. Okay. There we go.
You get an entry. You get an entry. You get an entry. Yes, everyone gets an entry.
Let's see. Everybody.
You mean we can actually get in us now?
You get an entry.
You get an entry.
I'll give you an entry.
We'll give you an entry. Dwight Allen says, 10 years before I graduated. Okay. Is Ivan Bridger Ryder Perry scored a touchdown in that game? Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
He sure did. The refrigerator Perry, boom, 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 boom. I think 2 or 3 yards out.
He busted the whole line. I went, there's no way.
There's no way they're stopping the fridge. 340, right?
I think 340.
At least he had 340 pounds there. The refrigerator Perry scored a touchdown. Yes, he did. Mitchell Gunner, welcome in, buddy. Hey, glad to have you here. Let's get started as we always do. But tonight it's a special edition of the Georgia-Alabama National Championship game. Before we get started, you have a chance. You better stay on for the whole time. You have a chance. You don't even have to pick the score. All you got to do is pick the right team tonight. Show her the baskets. You got the Bama Bowl.
The Bama Bowl.
And the Bulldog basket. All you got to do later on, when I call for you to do it, is to give me the winner. We're going to put your name in one of these bowls. Tomorrow night, as we draw out our winner for December.
That's correct.
Because we haven't drawn one of them, we're also going to draw the winner of tonight's deal.
That's right.
2 people's going to get two $25 gift cards for the Downtown Grill. It could be the 2 same people. Who the heck knows? We've had that done before.
And she said I could enter. It could be me too, right?
It could be you. It could be you. All right. Michael Heater is going to work on a couple of things for us. He's going to pull up some statistics and things like that. But I want to go over some insights to the game for both teams tonight. I like to call it stats and trends. So I want to go over here, see if you agree with me, Byron, the panel, you guys that are out there watching. By the way, Florence Jenkins, welcome in.
Welcome in, guys.
Like to have you back on the show. I know we've lost communication a little bit. She sells the jewelry.
Yes, she does.
Right.
Hey, we like that. That was a great show. Love to have you back on. All right. 5 keys for Georgia to win tonight, Byron, Michael, and Dave, and the audience. Fix the glitch. What do I mean by fix the glitch? Fix the glitch means the Bulldogs defense. The Bulldogs defense gave up 536 total yards to an Alabama team that was really struggling, Byron, you got to admit, coming into that game. They should have lost the Auburn game. They found a way to win it. And then all of a sudden, I don't know what Saban did, but woke them boys up and put a 41 spot on that Georgia Bulldog defense. He exploited some things that Georgia wasn't used to seeing all year, and that was those wide receivers in space, especially the Williams kid. He busted some routes that really was blown coverages, if you really want to look at that. Blown coverages is what they were. So Georgia has to fix the glitch. They did stop the run pretty well, but they're going to have to stop that pass offense because the Heisman Trophy winner, Bryce Young, will light you up if you give him time.
You can't light somebody up if you're lying on your back.
You're exactly right. So that's what I mean about fix the glitch.
I know something else, too, and I think you probably got it on your list here like that, is that the only way that this is really going to work well for the Bulldogs, and I think you will agree with this one, is that they've got to come and play for 60 minutes.
Absolutely correct.
That has been the Achilles heel of every team that's taken on Alabama this season, is that by the end of the third quarter, halfway through the fourth quarter, they're spent. And Nick Saban has really put together a team that will play the entire 60-minute span. That's the reason why they always seem to come on very well towards the end and really put it away, even on games that start off fairly close.
I agree with that. Second thing, Byron, for Georgia to win, you got to get Stetson Bennett comfortable in the pocket. He needs some time to be able to throw the ball. Alabama knocked him on his can about 5 times the last game. Georgia's line has got to shore up a little bit, even if he has to manage the game. Hey, dump it off to the Bowers kid. Let Pickens run a couple of slants. Hey,
you know the easiest way
put
to
White or Cook out on some wheel routes.
You know the easiest way to do that to me?
What's that?
Is have the running game function the way it should.
Absolutely, and I was just getting ready to get to that because do you know no back had over 40 yards in that game, to include Cook. And
so when you get the running game going, the play action starts working, and then he's comfortable in the pocket, because the linebackers aren't moving up.
Yeah. Now here's the other guy that I think needs to be involved. That's freshman tight end, All-American Brock Bowers. Just got through talking about him.
Sure.
He has to be a star tonight. He has to figure out, Michael, David, Byron, and our audience, he's got to figure out a way to get into space. He's big enough. He's fast enough. Needs to get off those backs. You know what I'm saying? Because he can beat one-on-one with the linebackers. There's no doubt about that.
All day and all night long.
He's got to get into space and create something with his legs. He had 12 catches, 139 yards, and I believe a touchdown or 2 touchdowns against Bama in that last game. Yes. He needs to be the guy. I think he's the X factor in this whole thing. What do you think?
I think there is another X factor in this whole thing.
Okay.
Which I will talk about a little bit later.
Okay. We got to stop Jamison Williams. 1,507 yards and 15 touchdowns this year. And the last time in the SEC championship game, he had 184 yards and 2 scores. He burnt Georgia deep. He was able to find the deep balls. Your buddy never got Bryce Young never got any pressure, and he just threw the ball down the field. And that's without Mechie. John Mechie III is not even playing in this game. To me, is a better receiver than Williams. He's not even playing in the game. You got to find a way, Byron, to contain him. I would put like some kind of spy coverage on him and double team him in a lot of his routes. What do you think?
Don't even let him get off the line.
Yeah, chuck him off the line. They was giving him a lot of space there, too.
Don't give him space. Put 2 people on him on the line. Stop him on the line. Break the route off.
I agree.
I don't know why more defenses don't actually do that with star players, because you can disrupt somebody doing that and make somebody else beat you.
All right, and I've got the last one, the 5th one for Georgia to win this game. Michael sort of hit it a little bit. So did you. The elephant in the room. What do I mean by that? The elephant in the room. Kirby's inability to beat his boss, Alabama's Nick Saban. Kirby is 0-4 versus the Tide. It's in your head, and that's exactly what Byron said right there. Let me give you an example before you say. Alabama knows they're going to come in here and win the game. Georgia thinks they're going to win the game. They've got to get off that mindset.
Well, I think part of it's not just Alabama. It's just it's Georgia. Period. Georgia's
been known to do this. Yeah.
Really good football teams that should have probably won national championships.
Yeah.
Probably 4 or 5 of them since 1980, and it just can't seem to beat the better teams for some reason.
And I'll tell you what, and Byron's spot on with this one, because I think what it is, and you're hitting on it, and I think you're hitting on it as well. There is a level of trepidation.
Sure.
There is absolute level.
Yeah.
Kirby and his coaches, through no fault of anyone in particular, they, like you said, they go into this thinking, man, I think we can do this.
Yeah.
Whereas Nick Saban's team is like, no, we know we can do this. And
Correct.
There's that trepidation that holds them back. The only way, in my opinion, the only way that Georgia's going to come out here and win this game convincingly is that they have got to come out powerful, and they've got to score early and often. And I'm talking about getting the ball on the coin toss if they can and marching down the field. Even if it requires some quick slants, even if that means a couple of whatever it takes, fade passes, whatever. They've got to score quickly. Otherwise, it is going to be a very long night. Because if Alabama scores ahead of them, and the defense dominates, which is what they may end up having, I see a repeat of the SEC championship game.
I don't see the secondary stopping Georgia's wide receivers. But what I would have done is I would have done one thing, because I remember everybody saying Alabama was just going to kill a certain team about 4 or 5 years ago, and they got run out of the stadium. Absolutely destroyed.
That's true. That's right.
Nick Saban can be beat.
Oh, yeah.
Alabama can be beat.
Yep.
You have to have the right mindset, and you have to have the athletes to do it. Georgia has the athletes to do it. They need the mindset.
As a matter of fact, I'm glad that you say that, and we'll put a close on Georgia's here after I read a couple of comments. I agree with you guys. I think Georgia has the better players and the better team. They got more 5 stars, more 4 stars. Not that I put a lot of credential in 5 stars and 4 stars, because you got to prove it at the college level. You got to prove it. But you got to have good players to win ball games, David. And I'm going to tell you right now, I believe on paper and what you've seen, I think Georgia's got the better team.
I agree.
Now, we'll see how that plays out. Now, let me say, Dwight Allen has a good point, what you brought up. Georgia has a history of choking in the big games.
Yes.
Doesn't matter whether it's Nick Saban or whoever.
Florida. They had a problem with Florida for years.
Absolutely.
Yep. Randy Brooks is watching. Pepper Autistic's watching. Joseph A. Sayers is watching. Mitchell Gunner says they need to jam him off the line. And he was talking about Jamison Williams. Yeah, you got to chuck this guy. Absolutely. Make him know that, hey, when he runs that pattern, he's going to get hit right off the line of scrimmage.
Exactly.
They need to keep pressure on the Alabama quarterback and the wide receiver, and don't turn the ball over and score every time you get the ball. Yeah, that's another thing. Georgia cannot trade field goals for touchdowns. No. You trade field goals for touchdowns, You get beat no matter who you're playing. This is going to be a long night for Georgia if they start doing that.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying.
Bobby Gibson says, go ahead, double team wide receivers. That leaves the tight end one-on-one, and it opens up the run game. He's got a good point there. And that's exactly right. But you got to remember, Bobby, hey, you've got some great linebackers, and I'm going to go over them. Hey, you got some great linebackers for Georgia that are fast, big and fast, and somebody is going to be king on that tight end. Yes. And I'm going to tell you right now, that tight end ain't going to be as open as you think he is. Will it open up the run game some? Possibly. It could. You know, hey, you're going to find some holes.
It depends on who you jam them with. If you're jamming him with a DB and safety,
right.
Probably not with those linebackers that Georgia has.
Right, and that's exactly right. All right, let's get some 5 keys for Alabama to win. Keep the Heisman Trophy winner Bryce Young's jersey clean. Well, it was awful clean in that championship game 5 weeks ago. They need to knock him on his rear end.
They're going to have to.
They're going to need Byron to knock him on his rear end.
If they don't pressure the quarterback, they will never succeed because if you give Bryce
he's going to pick him apart again.
He's going to pick him apart every single down.
Hey, when was the last time you threw the ball off your back and completed a pass? Keep this guy down.
You don't even,
hit him.
You don't even have to sack him every time.
No, hit him.
Just keep
pressure.
on hitting him.
A little bit of pressure. A little bit of pressure.
They need to stay on schedule offensively, expand the run game, and avoiding the bad penalties. Running back Brian Robinson Jr. needs to have a big game for Bama, I think. I think they need to run the ball here to win the game. I really do. I know they can throw the ball, but I think they need to open up the run game as well. What do you think?
Gab, that's key to me to anybody winning a football game is run game.
Well, Georgia wasn't able to run it against Bama's defense the last time. So Georgia's got to figure out a way to run the ball too. And Alabama did do enough in the run game to keep it balanced a little bit where Bryce could have that big day. So we'll see what happens. The young wide receivers must step up. No John Mechie III. So wide receivers, Ja'Cory Brooks, he's a freshman. Sophomore Javon Baker and freshman JoJo Earl needs to be a big part of the passing game. If Williams is double teamed, he's got to be able to go to one of these young wide receivers, B.
And I'll tell you right now, the one to watch for, mark my words, JoJo. They go to him because
JoJo Earl.
He's a sleeper.
Yeah, he's fast.
Georgia's not going to be expecting it. I will guarantee you, JoJo has a banner night. If they get the ball to him, he's going to beat the will. I'm telling you.
What do you think, B?
I think JoJo's going to be a sleeper.
I mean, that's... You just can't keep going to Jamison Williams all night long. I'm going to tell you, pretty soon you figure it out.
They'll figure it out if that happens. And I really don't know what to say about this because I want to start watching this football game first.
Of course.
Well, and because
I agree with you.
My X factor for the night has nothing to do with a football player at all. It has to do with what he's wearing over there.
Yeah.
And how Alabama gets calls from them or doesn't get calls from them.
And
I watch games, and it
he's-
infuriates me what Alabama gets from the referees.
He brings up a very good point on that one, and that is true.
Yeah.
That is, it's unfortunate, but I think that.
The referees are definitely now. I can tell you this: it won't be SEC refs. We'll find out who the refs are for this game.
Picture after picture from that Cincinnati game, especially 2 touchdowns in the end zone, the wide receivers just basically got just mugged in the end zone. The referee stands there with his hands crossed like this, watching it.
Well,
I'm sitting here going, they're never going to have a chance of beating Alabama if the referees won't call a pass interference call in the end zone when the wide receiver is being mugged before the ball gets to him. Yeah. I've seen it before. I mean, I'm still bitter over a certain play in the end zone at the half.
Yeah, you were, Betty. You called me, and
I mean, I don't know how much more pass interference it could be than having a linebacker on top of
I think in a game like
with
this,
the ball this far away from the tight end.
As long as it's called both ways, I think they're going to let them play tonight. If it's called both ways and you're not calling pass interference and it is pass interference of one team or another, I don't care. I don't have an issue with it. Let them play. Yeah. This is what these two teams are all about.
I really would just like to see a cleanly called game. If there's call it. If there's not, don't call it. If there's holding, and I'm not talking about the ticky-tacky, everyday things that happen with linemen. I'm talking
Right.
about people with their arms around defensive ends' necks,
Right.
with them almost at the quarterback, and the lineman has a hold of him like this, and he's behind him holding the guy, and they sit there with a flag in the pocket. That's holding. I'm sorry.
Right.
You can't grab a hold of somebody from behind, and the referee can't sit in there and watch that.
Right.
Make the game fair on all levels.
I agree.
See who is the best team, because to me, that's not who's the best team. That's who
Gets away with the most.
Well, it's really who, to me, college football wants to see win another national championship, or the SEC wants to see who wins a game,
Right.
something like that. And when it's obvious,
And
it
we'll
makes
see.
it makes
You're
you
right.
wonder what's going on.
And you're right. All right. Force Stetson Bennett into mistakes. They did last time. Bama's front three, they even brought 4 at times. Has to get pressure on Bennett. They did. Even though Bennett still threw for 300-something yards now. He just threw 2 interceptions that were costly. But
sure.
Bennett played a pretty decent game, but Bama's front, man,
They
just
played
got
well.
yeah.
They
Yeah.
did. They played really well in that game.
Yes, they did. All right, SOS. This is the last point that I got. SOS. Do you know what that means?
If it's dealing with Alabama victories, I can tell you
Right here. What'd you say? What did I say a while ago? Saban over Smart. Mental advantage.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, Kirby Smart has got to get out of this thing. Hey, you need to come in there with a great game plan. I hope you do. I hope it's better than the one that you showed 5 weeks ago. And come in like you played against Michigan.
We've already
and
had-
this game will be pretty interesting.
We've already had one Saban apprentice beat him this year.
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
we have.
It could be too.
I'll tell you the one that I'm going to be interested to watch, and Byron hit it right on the head. You both did about with the pass defense like that one. Is going to be Brian Robinson Jr. He got 26 rushes for 204 yards during the Cotton Bowl, which was, believe it or not, set a record for the
Yes, it
most
did.
yards by a Crimson Tide player in a bowl game.
In a bowl game.
I didn't know that until
My
recently.
God, I could run through the holes in that line that he was getting because
Yeah.
the defensive linemen were getting mugged.
Agreed, but I think that they're going to rely on.
Sorry.
I understand that one, but I'm telling you, I think between JoJo and Brian, I think you're going to see a bit of a more balanced run game, and I think that's. I would like to see one team win. I just don't believe it's going to happen.
And we'll see again.
I really don't care because I don't like either one of them.
Well,
I'm just being honest. I don't like either one of them. But I just want to see who really is the national champion. That's what I
You want to see a good
I
football
want
game.
to see a good football game that's called both ways and called the right way both ways. I don't want to be sitting there calling David going, man, if they overturn
That
this
call,
play,
yeah.
I am turning the channel right now and not watching this garbage.
All right, I want to go over a couple of more things. You've got the stats coming up, right? I
got
want to
a few
go
of
over
them.
Alabama's depth chart. I'm going to tell you who's on offense, who's on defense. Let's start with Alabama. 13-1 overall, 7-1 in the conference. The only loss, as Byron said, was to the Aggies in College Station back in October, I believe, is when it was. Do you know that Alabama has 71 active NFL players? That is. I'm sure it is.
There is absolutely no denying that Nick Saban is a great coach
Yeah.
who develops NFL talents.
Yes,
And
he
people
does.
go to him because he develops NFL talents.
Right.
I mean, he's a great linebackers coach because not a lot of people know this, but that's what he used to do.
That's
before he
exactly
became a
right.
Coach.
Right.
He was a linebackers coach.
Yeah. And,
And I believe it was with Navy, wasn't it?
yeah, it was. That's where it
Yeah,
started. Mhm.
yeah.
Offensive scheme, Alabama's going to run a multiple two-pro back set on you. They'll spread it out on you as well. No Mechie again tonight. He is out for this game. Defense, he'll run a 3-4 on you. So, and then he'll bring some guys in. Alabama will blitz you too. Don't think they won't. They've got some great linebackers. They'll bring those corners in, and they'll blitz you as well. So that's something that the Georgia offense is going to have to watch, and Stetson Bennett as well. If he's getting that pressure, hey, look, it doesn't hurt for you to throw the ball away and throw it out of bounds. Don't take that sack. Don't take that big loss. Don't throw an interception. Throw the ball away, Byron, and live to play another play.
Well, think about what you said about wheel routes.
Yeah.
Think about how Alabama's been burnt by that when they've blitzed, because not only did Texas A&M do it,
right,
but the teams that have beaten them for the national championships did some of that.
I.e. Clemson. Yeah.
Boy,
I'm telling you, that was a thrall in that one year. Jimmy Smith says, put his name into the Bulldog basket. Yep, he's got to go out to a party or something, Georgia party or something. Right now. Yep. All right. So when Alabama's on offense, the ex-wide receiver is going to be Ja'Cory Brooks, the freshman. The wide receiver, Z wide receiver on the other side is going to be Jamison Williams, the junior. We've already talked about him. The other wide receiver, somebody that we didn't talk about, he's what we call the H receiver. Usually lines up in the slot. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you, he's going to be a difference maker too, maybe an X factor. Slade Bolden. He's a redshirt junior. So Slade Bolden will have that other receiver. So when they line up in that 3-receiver set. Evan Neal is going to be your left tackle, junior left tackle. Left guard for Alabama is going to be Javion Cohen. He's a sophomore. The center is going to be Seth McLaughlin, sophomore. Right guard, Emil Akor, junior. He's a redshirt junior. Then Chris Owens is going to be the right tackle. He's a redshirt senior. Tight end, Cameron Latou, the one that Bobby was talking about. Redshirt junior. Hey, let's see if he can break off like Bowers does and catch some of these passes like he thinks he's going to do. The quarterback, of course, sophomore. They call him a sophomore. He's really a freshman. Bryce Young. He's going to be your quarterback, the Heisman Trophy winner. And at running back is going to be number 4, Brian Robinson Jr. David. He's a redshirt senior. So that's who you'll see on offense for Bama tonight. On defense for Bama, defensive end, Phadrian Mathis, a redshirt senior, number 48. You're going to see DJ Dale at the nose tackle. He's a junior. And Byron Young. Byron, our very own Byron, is going to be playing defensive end. He's a junior. He got more eligibility.
You better add about another 100 pounds and give me just a little bit more speed at 50 years old.
Okay, yeah. This is that 3-4. All right. You know, guys, I've always talked to you about linebackers, different names. You got a Sam linebacker. You got a Jack linebacker. Mike. Alabama Mike linebacker. Everybody calls it a little different, and so does Bama. Right. The Sam linebacker is going to be Dallas Turner, number 15. He's a freshman, Byron. Then at the Mike linebacker spot, Henry Tutu Jr. How about that, huh? Henry Tutu. Will linebacker is going to be Christian Harris Jr. The Jack linebacker mainly likes to play a little strong safety here and there. You back him off a little bit. That's going to be Will Anderson Jr., the sophomore. And let me tell you something. That guy is outstanding. One of the best defensive players in the nation, bar none. That guy is wreaking havoc by himself. Cornerback, Jalen Amar Davis. He's a redshirt junior. DeMarco Helms. He's going to be the free safety. He's a junior. You getting a pattern here? Jordan Battle, the strong safety. He's a junior. And the other corner is going to be Kool-Aid McKinstry. How about that name? Kool-Aid McKinstry, the freshman. And then the star guy is going to be number 14, Brian Branch. You'll see him in there as a sophomore. How about that? The Kool-Aid. How about those names?
Man, I can't imagine what that kid was. Oh, my goodness.
All right. On special teams, which, Byron, I'm surprised you didn't say. Punter is going to be James Burnham, number 86, a redshirt freshman. One of the best place kickers in the nation, Will Reichert, the junior, will be doing the place kicking and the kickoff. The long snapper, Neeland, I'm talking Knee Land, Neeland, Hibbett, the freshman. Paul Tyson is going to be your holder. He's a redshirt sophomore. And the punt returner, the all-dangerous Slade Bolden, the redshirt junior. Kickoff returner is going to be the guy himself, Jamison Williams. But Byron, I want to ask you something. Do you think they're going to use him in that since he is the starting running back? You think they'll use, the starting wide receiver, you think they'll still use him in that, take a chance of him getting hurt? Most kicks are going to the end zone anyway.
Yes, the answer is yes. In this game, yes.
Yeah, the wide receiver.
In this game, yes, I do.
And, of course, John Mechie, no game tonight for him. So, Roy Jackson said, this show is much better than ESPN's. Well, thank you there.
Very good.
Of course, duh. Vincent Tucker's joining us. He's down in Florida now, Okeechobee.
Good evening.
Hey, good evening. Maybe Vincent Tucker can come up and join us one night. Hey, we'd love to have him. All right, Georgia on offense. The ex-wide receiver is going to be a Donnie Mitchell. He's a freshman. Wide receiver Z on the other side, Jermaine Burton, a sophomore. How about the slot wide receiver, Lad McConkey? Does that name sound familiar to you? Mm-hmm. That's Phil McConkey's son. Redshirt freshman. Jameer Slayer, he's going to be the left tackle. He's a senior. Justin Schaefer, the left tackle. He's a senior. How about the center, Cedric Van Pran, redshirt freshman? Are you getting a sense again? Young guys here, but good. Right guard, redshirt junior, Warren Erickson. How about right tackle, redshirt sophomore, Warren McClendon. The All-American tight end, my X-factor in the game, Brock Bowers, the freshman. Stetson Bennett is your quarterback. Trivia question. Do you know where Stetson Bennett played his football at? High school football. Where, Byron?
I'll give everybody a little bit of a hint. It's really close to here.
Yes, it is, but it's not in the state. Do you know?
I thought he played in Valdosta, but I wasn't.
Close. He played in Pierce County.
Pierce County,
yep. He was a Bulldog. He did play against us. Remember when Pierce County came down?
Yes.
He was already at Georgia, so he didn't play against us that year. But they consider him a redshirt senior. And then starting at running back, which surprises me, not Cook. Zamir White's going to get the start, the redshirt junior at running back. They will bring Cook in. Cook, Zamir White is your lightning guy.
Sure.
Cook is going to be your game buster right there.
Now, the thing is are they going to use both of them in the same package?
They can, and they will.
That's what I would do.
And they will, because their offensive scheme is a pro spread, Byron. So they will put both of those guys, David, in the same backfield, and they'll still split you out there with those three receivers, and then you got to account for Brock Bowers, the tight end. So I'm really ready to see that matchup. All right, on defense, you got Travion Walker, the junior. He'll be on one defensive end. The nose tackle, Jordan Davis, a senior. Then Devontae Wyatt, the senior defensive tackle, running that 3-4 scheme, Byron. Mm-hmm. All right, Robert Beal is your Sam linebacker. He's a redshirt senior. Nakobe Dean, one of the best players in the country. He's a junior. He's playing the MAC linebacker. Yes, sir. The money linebacker is Quay Walker, another great player. He's a senior. You know who's playing the Jack linebacker? Another great player, Nolan Smith, the junior. And then, hey, you were talking about those four guys right there, those four linebackers. Oh, they are the four best linebackers in college football today. I'm telling you, speed, size, quickness. They'll get to the ball. I'm telling you right now. Christopher Smith, the senior, will be a strong safety. Lewis Sine, the junior, free safety. Darion Kendrick, the right corner, he's a senior. And then Latavius Brini, he's going to be the star. He's the right, he's a redshirt senior. All right, one of the best punters in the country, Jake Camarada, the senior, he can punt. He's averaging 48.8 yards per kick. Place kicker, Jack Podlisny. He's a redshirt junior. Kickoffs is going to be handled by Mr. Jake himself. Long snapper, Payne Walker, the redshirt junior. Holder, Jake Arada. He's going to be doing a lot tonight. So not only is he going to be kicking, he's going to be holding as well. Kieris Jackson is going to return punts. He's a redshirt junior. And Kenny McIntosh He's a junior, going to be handling kickoff returns. Those are the names and the lineups that you will be hearing tonight as the call is being done by Kirk Herbstreit, color commentator. He will be a color commentator tonight. And your buddy, Chris Fowler, will be doing the play-by-play. Also, Eli Gold, he's going to be on Channel 81 on Sirius Radio. The Georgia broadcast will be on 84, and the national broadcast with Sean McDonough will be on Sirius Radio 80. So that you'll be able to get covered everywhere if you're on your way home. So, as we start breaking this down, all right, do you have anything else for me, brother?
Just real quick here, again, just to finalize some things here before we get into our final picks like that one. Alabama does rank third in the nation in scoring offense when Bryce Young is at the helm here, averaging 41 points per game. I think you're going to see a very high-scoring game as a result of this. Okay. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I can also tell you that when they square off here, you're looking at what's probably going to be, let me go ahead and get this pulled up here. From the rushing offense side, Alabama ranks 72nd in the nation rushing offense.
They're usually up in the top 10.
They are, and I think this is where they're going to try to throw off Georgia on a little bit like that one, because usually Georgia does pretty well when they're trying to work on a spread offense. I don't know if they're going to be able to contain the receiving core though, and I think that's where they're going to end up suffering.
Please let them try to run the ball. Please let them do that. Please.
All right, Mark Goody's on. Vincent Tucker says, Hot Topics with Z and Tuck sending special greetings. David Rodgers and the team have thought of coming up sometime as a special guest. You're more than welcome anytime. Let us know, Vincent. You can come on up. Joey Knapp's on. You know Joey. Joey's the man. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hello, LB! And welcome to our special edition. He says, Go Georgia!
I guess we pretty much know who he is.
Well, we know who. You better put Albie's name in there for Georgia. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here's where you're going to be part of the show as we get ready to close down tonight, because we want to go home and watch the show, the game tonight as well. I'm going to start over to my left, but while you're on, anybody that's on right now, give me a pick. Don't have to have a score of who is going to win the national championship tonight. We will pull that name tomorrow along with our December winner. 2 people. One for the December will get a $25 gift certificate to the Downtown Grill, and the winner of tonight will get a $25 gift certificate. We'll start with Shirley Bagwell. She says Georgia. Give me Georgia. All right, Mr. Byron Bagwell, I'm going to go to my left. Well, better yet, Dave Holland. Give me a pick tonight. Who's going to win the game? And if you want to put a reason there, why?
Let me see now. Georgia played Michigan, right?
Georgia played Michigan and pretty much took them to the dog show.
Whipped them really bad.
Yes, they did.
I don't need a reminder, thank you.
Yeah,
sorry about that.
Sorry about that.
When you said that, I thought, oh my Lord, they're going to kill Michigan after getting beat by Alabama.
I'm not a Fairweather Wolverine fan. I jumped on that 2 years ago. I was going to ride that pony till it dropped.
Dave, hang on before you say. So my man can keep going here.
Go ahead.
All right. So you got Tammy, right, or Alvy?
Yes.
You got Shirley. Bobby Gibson says, give me Alabama.
Bobby Gibson.
Did we get a prediction from Dave?
Not yet. I wanted to stop it because I wanted him to write down before we lose this. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Anthony Black says, give him Georgia.
Anthony Black.
Vincent Tucker said
goes to Georgia.
Roy Jackson says Georgia by 10.
Roy Jackson, Georgia.
Yep. Tammy Testone says Georgia.
Okay.
Vincent Tucker says, I want Alabama, but I think Georgia's going to take us. Give him Georgia. John Garner. Hey, from Pascagoula, Mississippi, brother, you got a chance. All you got to do is give me the winner, and you have a chance to win a $25 gift certificate to the Downtown Grill anytime you're over this
Georgia,
way.
Correct?
Yes,
okay.
Georgia. Yep. Phil Jackson, hard one, but he says give him Bama.
Phil Jackson going with freaking Bama.
Gordon Smith says, Georgia beats the dynasty. SEC is where champions are made. Give him Georgia.
Give me the garbage can. I need the barf.
Give him the garbage can.
Where
SO1
champions are made.
Yep.
wants Georgia.
Geo, yep, he wants Georgia.
Love
All
it,
right.
Sheriff.
Alabama has won the last 7 games with Smart 0-4 against his old coach. You're exactly right. David, all right. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I just want to make sure we got everybody's name in.
And that's quite all right. Georgia against Michigan whipped them up pretty bad.
Yeah.
But Alabama came back and whipped up my team, Cincinnati Bearcats.
Yes, they did.
Really bad, too.
Yeah.
These two teams are evenly matched. I don't like neither one, but I'm going to go with Georgia.
You're going with Georgia. David goes with Georgia. All right, we'll write this down over here. Dave Holland, because he's not eligible to win.
That's
Dave
right.
Holland says Georgia.
That's right.
Okay, David, do you like it close? Or do you like this Georgia by 10, Georgia by 12?
I'm going to say close.
You're going to say close. All right. Robert McGee says 29-23 Georgia.
Robert.
It's a pretty good prediction.
Gordon says, put me in the drawing twice just for being right. All right.
Robert said Georgia.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm
right,
going to
Michael.
I'm going to say the game's going to come down on a deciding point against that.
Well, that's against Georgia.
The
Ooh,
penalties.
the penalties. Okay. Well, you
Penalties
threw it in
are
the
gonna
Georgia
decide
basket,
that
so.
game.
All right, Michael, since we're going, I'm going to go to you. Give me a prediction and tell me why.
Okay, so my heart says this is the year. I say my heart says Kirby is going to move past it. He's going to take this. He's going to win a national championship.
Yep.
And then reality kicks in and says, no, Alabama's going to win.
Alabama.
Taking Alabama. I don't want Alabama. I do not want Alabama.
Byron, here's your 3 minutes of fame. Tell me why and who.
Georgia wins a football game. Georgia wins a football game if the referees are calling penalties that they're not supposed to by 3. If they are actually officiating the game like they should, they will beat Alabama by 21.
Good guess.
Now, do you think they're that much better than them?
I think Georgia is the best team in college football. I thought Georgia was the best team in college football since I watched them play their second game of the year. They've got speed, they've got depth, they've got great wide receivers, they've got great running backs, they have got an unbelievably good tight end. Both of their lines are incredible. That is a really, really, really good football team. And like I said, I don't really care for either one of them, to tell you the honest truth. But Georgia has an incredible roster. The only way that game is close to me is if the Stripes get involved with it and they let the defensive line and the linebackers get mugged like they did with the Cincinnati game. It made me ill. That game made me ill.
Pepper
It was terrible.
Autistic says give her Bama. All right.
That's
So here comes my pick. All right, I gave you all the information that I could. We went over a lot of information. First of all, I want to thank my panel, Mr. Byron Bagwell, Mr. Dave Holland, Mr. Michael Heater. I haven't heard from Mitchell Gunner, so I'm not sure. I think he would go with Georgia, but let's just see if we can get him back on. Us Bama fans see as many missed calls against the opponents as you haters see missed. Well, hey, don't get him started. Don't get him started, Bobby. We're going to leave him because we want to go watch the game.
Go break down that film and bring it back to you and show you what they were doing the whole entire game.
All right.
It's sickening.
All right. So first and foremost, I want to say that I think both the two best teams in the country, like Byron said, are playing in this football game. There's no doubt about it.
I really don't think
So-
so. I think Georgia's the best team in the country, and I think.
But I mean,
Alabama's
okay, I
probably
want
the
to
third
pick
or
your
fourth best
brain.
team.
I want who's better than Bama right now?
The team that beat them.
They're a 4-loss team.
Don't care. They
Yeah,
beat 'em,
it doesn't
didn't
matter.
They won.
Yeah, but
they beat Bama, didn't they?
They beat Bama.
They got
but
beat by a 4-loss team. That's what I'm saying. They got beat by a
right.
4-loss team.
Okay, but they're not in the college football
I
playoffs.
understand that.
All right, well, that's what I'm saying. So who's the two best teams in the country are playing this ball game tonight? That's what I'm saying. I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying about them getting beat by a 4-loss team. But at the end of the day, they are here. Again, they should have lost to Auburn. Okay, we can debate that all day long.
Should have lost to Ole Miss.
So, well, should have. Yeah, you're right. And you're right. So
they should have 3 losses.
once
again,
Roy says, David, can I watch ESPN when you're done? Absolutely. You don't probably have to, though. Really, you've got everything that you need to have.
Everything we need right
All right. So anyway, look, I think the two best teams are playing in the country. That's my opinion, and I'm gonna let Byron have his opinion there.
I don't. I think that Nick Saban is if he's not the best, he is definitely in the top 3 coaches, and I give Nick Saban all the credit in the world. He's a great coach.
All right.
He takes people.
Tom Bailey says give him Alabama. But anyway, so I'd like to see Georgia win this ball game. Couple of reasons, and I told you him at the beginning.
Sure.
I'd like to see Nick Saban get knocked off the pedestal. I'd like for somebody to finally really, in a big game, Michael, to shut him up.
Now, if it doesn't happen tonight.
My gosh, Dave, if Clemson didn't do it 5 years ago, nothing will.
Yeah, but here we go. Now Clemson's off the slide a little bit, and now here we go. It's still Bama, 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 Bama.
The good news is,
yes,
if it doesn't happen tonight, we got Billy Napier. Moving on.
All right. So Billy Napier, who's that? But anyway, rumor has it if Alabama loses, Saban retires. Really? Okay. Well, let's find out.
That would be
that would be interesting thought.
Why would?
Anyway, all right. So here we go.
Happening.
All right. Anyway, I don't need. Anyway, so look. I'd like to see Georgia win the ball game. I think Georgia's got the better athletes. I think they got, like you, Byron, you were saying. I think they got the better team, man to man. Where Georgia is lacking is here. I think the referees, yes, Byron is definitely going to, if they call this game like they should, I want to see them play the whole game. Georgia is going to get beat here. And I think, as I said, it reminds me of Florida State and Miami back in the day, and we should have 8 national championships, but Miami beat us when they shouldn't have many, many times. And they cost us national championships because Miami come in there with swagger. They come in there knowing they was going to be Florida State, and Florida State says, I think we're going to win. What you just said.
That's exactly right.
This is what I think Georgia's coming into, even though it didn't show against Michigan. It showed, like you said, they punched them in the mouth, David. They did.
And that's because Georgia went into that game saying, we're going to beat Michigan. They have not walked into the stadium saying, we're going to beat Alabama.
Right. I think that's the key. To me, it's mental. Yeah. And I think because of that, Alabama wins the game. Yep. I'll write myself down.
I agree.
27.
I want Georgia to win.
So, me too. Oh, me too. If this pick is horrible, I'm glad. I think Alabama wins 27-23. I think it's very close. I really do.
I think it's going to be a close game if it's, like I said, if the officials get in the way. Here is what I'm going to say about what you guys just said. Mm-hmm. How do you know these kids are not going into this game going, we're getting you for what you did in the SEC championship.
And you're right.
They might.
And they may. But I'm just telling you, when you've got Nick Saban, the best coach right here in the country today, it's all in your head. You don't think Kirby Smart is saying, how am I going to outcoach or outdo Nick Saban? If you can't tell me he's not sitting there doing that, Nick Saban's not doing that. Nick Saban's got his game plan, and he's going to stick with it. Absolutely. Win or lose, he is going to stick with it.
I'm one of those Georgia linebackers. I'm telling you what my thought process is in this whole game.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody's getting hurt.
Somebody's going to get hit.
Multiple people hurt.
What did you say?
By the time I'm finished with this, and we are going to win this game because they're not scoring a point.
That's what I would say. Exactly. Now, hey, what did Mickey Andrews say? What did Mickey Andrews say?
Buddy, would I play with that philosophy?
And that's the way I think Georgia should play.
Whistle?
I agree.
Yeah. And coach needs to look at them and go, get 4 or 5 15-yard penalties, and you're putting him on his rear end.
Put him on his rear end.
Put him on his rear end.
I'm not saying hurt the kid or hurt anybody. Knock him on his tail. Make him think about throwing that that deep pass next time.
And by hurt, I don't mean
Yes.
dirty.
No,
plays.
not at all.
What I'm talking about is playing with physicality and hitting people as hard as I can within the limits of the actual rules. Of the game.
I think it boils down to this one. Georgia, if you want to win this game, you've got to come out from the first
And
play.
punch him in the mouth.
Punch him in the mouth. Play with
Punch
aggression.
him in the mouth.
Ruthless aggression. Get out there.
like they did with
And
Michigan.
then Kirby needs to plan for this to be
Kirby
a
needs to-
60-minute game.
Kirby, you're exactly right. Kirby needs to keep the gas to the floor.
Absolutely right.
Keep pounding, pound it. Hey,
right.
however you scored your touchdowns, keep doing it. Keep doing it. Keep doing it.
That's right.
Now,
And hang 30 and 40 on these guys.
Am I correct by saying Georgia is the defending?
Alabama's the
Alabama's
Alabama's the
Yeah.
defending champion.
Yeah.
And
Now,
that's
Georgia
on their
is a
side.
3.5-point favorite, right, in this game?
Yeah, the last time
Last time I
I
checked
heard
it,
it was 3.5.
3.5. So,
And that's
yeah.
Well, who won before that?
So, you mean who won before the Alabama? Was it Clemson?
Clemson won the year.
Oh, no, LSU.
LSU won.
LSU.
Clemson, LSU,
Alabama, and now whoever.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. Hey, great show. I hope you enjoyed the breakdown. We're at 7:34. We all want to get home to watch the game. Remember, tomorrow night, you can join in our regular show On the Spot with David Rodgers at 7 o'clock, our regular show time. Hopefully, Mitchell Gunner will be here as well. On behalf of the Byron Bagwell, Mr. Dave Holland, Mr. Michael Feeder filling in for him, Mitchell Gunner, and Austin Stevens, thank you for everything that you have done for us within the weather department. I'm David Rodgers, your host. God bless you. Go home, get your popcorn, get your chips, get your dip, whatever it is, and go and watch a great football game. God bless you guys. Good night, brother.
Good night, everybody.